A lot of advances have been made in the field of longevity, and if you're interested in living a long and healthy life and having some tools to age better, then this video is for you. Aging is a natural process of all living organisms, but what if the rate of decline could be slowed, or even better, reversed? What if we could live well beyond 100 years and reach the age of 200 in good health? Well, most people think this is a total fantasy, but not this guy. So David Sinclair is a longevity researcher at Harvard Medical School, and this book, Lifespan, is a fascinating read. Highly recommend it. Sinclair believes that aging is a disease, and by slowing senescence, we would change the way that we research and treat age-related diseases. So most people can live well past 80 with healthy diet and exercise, but in this video, I'm going to share some theories on what causes us to age, and then I'm going to provide some solutions to turn back the clock. Now, the first theory is related to genetics and damage to the DNA. Corrupted DNA leads to dead or senescent cells. They're also called zombie cells. And a buildup of these senescent cells, it just walks us up a cliff, and then we seem to fall off, which is scary. A very important molecule for DNA repair is called NAD+. NAD+ stands for nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, and it's a critical coenzyme that's found in every cell in your body, and it's involved in hundreds of metabolic processes. Your body makes its own NAD, and the levels decline with age. NAD+ helps turn food into energy, and it also works as a helper molecule for proteins that regulate other cell functions, such as the DNA repair. But overall, NAD is, I would say, used in about 500 chemical processes, which is a lot. And what's super interesting about it related to aging is that when the body senses its own levels of NAD+, it determines how it's doing. It's almost like taking a car in for a maintenance check. Now, when we experience hormesis is a word for positive stress, say like exercise or feeling hungry from caloric restriction, those NAD levels will go up. And what's happening is that the NAD is turning on the body's mechanisms against aging. NAD is also required by your immune system. And when you have a highly activated immune system, because say you're always sick, then those NAD levels are being used up. Part of DNA protection is related to something called telomeres. Now, if you've never heard of telomeres, they are the caps that are on the end of chromosomes, which protect the DNA from damage. And when these caps become shorter and shorter, the cells then become senescent, and they start to produce mutations and DNA variants, therefore shortening life. So epigenetics is the study of how lifestyle impacts your genetic expression. So whether you're getting adequate sleep, exercise, nutrients, laughing enough, and are managing stress levels, these things have a huge impact on your genetic expression. And we do have longevity genes. They're called the sirtuins. And there are nutrients that help the sirtuins. Yep, I'm going to tell you what they are. That leads me to theory number 2. The second theory of aging is related to oxidation and oxidative stress. So as part of the aging process, cells produce oxidants or reactive oxygen species, and we call these free radicals. Oxidation is a natural chemical process in the body, but an overabundance of unmanaged oxidative stress from, say, eating ultra processed food, smoking, sleep deprivation, lack of exercise. This leads to poor detoxification, too much acidity in our digestive tract, and then the resulting cellular damage just speeds up the aging process. Okay, so reactive oxygen species, they're also known as free radicals. And eating nutrient-dense foods, right? Nutrient-dense whole foods, eating the rainbow spectrum of colors, plus supplementing with antioxidants, that will also help your cellular repair, and it will maintain the body's proper pH balance, and that will help activate those sirtuins. Okay, third theory of aging. It's related to mitochondrial dysfunction. Now, you have hundreds of mitochondria in each of your cells, and they are responsible for making your energy. That your energy is a molecule called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So I want you to think of them as the gym and the mechanical room in your home, powering things up. And the mitochondria, they make our energy through a process called cellular respiration, as if they are breathing in and breathing out. Okay. And when the mitochondria are dysfunctional and a cell is now producing energy outside of the mitochondria, this is known as a cancer cell. So we have regulatory systems in place to kill off bad cells, to kill off these cancerous cells. But when we have an accumulation of those bad cells, then we have this buildup of acidity and a buildup of oxidative stress and this inability to repair protein. Now it's misfolded. We have an inability to repair our DNA. And then we have a recipe for massive decline. Okay, so what are some solutions to slowing this aging process? Are you interested? All right, here are my 5 favorites. Number 1, intermittent fasting. Yes. So remember those zombie cells, right? We can kill them off through a process called autophagy. Autophagy is when your body cleans out dead proteins. So I want you to imagine Times Square in New York City at New Year's. Tons of people, right? Just throngs of people. They've watched the ball drop. They're throwing confetti. They're throwing food wrappers. Is leaving tons of garbage on the ground. Okay. Now, at a certain point, they all go home, and those street sweepers, they come out and they do some cleaning. They clean up. They make the road and the sidewalks beautiful again. Well, now I want you to imagine that those people never went home, the party continued, and the street sweepers are rolling out at 5 a.m. trying to do their job. Impossible, right? But this is what happens when we are constantly eating. Eventually, the sticky proteins accumulate in the body and in the brain. Things like amyloid plaque associated with Alzheimer's. So this is why I'm such a huge advocate for intermittent fasting. It's just a great mechanism for you to give your body a break and achieve that autophagy to clear out those dead proteins. And it will keep you younger and healthier. Okay, number 2 is just sleep, water, move, eat. Basically, it's taking care of all the basics, the foundational stuff. Adequate sleep, hydration, movement. Okay, these things reduce oxidative stress in the body, and they help your body maintain the proper repair mechanisms. Movement, just moving, just walking. You should be walking every day. This reduces stress in the body. If you train really hard, yes, that produces some oxidative stress, so you also need to recover really well. Now, diet is the most important influencer of gene expression. So I really do invite you to examine the quality of what you're eating and to read labels. Number 3, supplement wisely. As well as I eat, I strongly believe in supplementing for added nutrient levels and to boost my antioxidant status. Something like metabolic greens is going to be an easy and painless way to balance the pH in your body and also to get the necessary phytonutrients and antioxidants to fight those free radicals, which are going to activate the sirtuins. Number 4 is meditate. I mean, I kind of laugh when people say that they don't have time to meditate. I mean, if Oprah and countless CEOs and top athletes have time to meditate, then so do you. Meditation is going to reduce oxidative stress in the body, and it's going to slow down the chemical cascade caused by being in fight or flight. In fact, it will actually free up your time to make better decisions and focus on important tasks. I'll say more about this in a future video. Okay, number 5 is grounding. So our body is a complicated electrochemical computer, right? All of those biological processes that I mentioned, they have this electrical component. Have you ever zapped a friend with static? Yeah, you carry an electrical charge. And so does the Earth. The Earth has electrons donated by the sun and the ionosphere. And by connecting barefoot with the ground, lying on the ground or on a beach, it rebalances our electrical gradient and it brings us into homeostasis, like balancing your blood pressure, for example. So because our shoes have rubber soles, this insulates us from the earth, and then we don't get the benefit. We don't get the benefit of this recharging our battery. And studies have shown that when we travel, we can just ground for 22 minutes, and it will help recalibrate us and help us with jet lag. It'll reset our circadian rhythm. And I love it because doing it is completely free. It's a completely free health boost. So unless you want to buy a grounding mat for your office or a grounding pad for your bed, it's free. Now, when you put together a healthy lifestyle, you are using all of these components, and all of the components that I mentioned. Also, Sinclair calls them the informational theory of aging. So give your body quality information and you will reap the reward. I want you to think of it as if you were consuming news from a credible news source versus a tabloid magazine. So grass-fed steak and spinach, clean water, positive and clear thoughts, sunlight, versus jelly beans and popcorn and overwhelm and frustration and wanting to pull your hair out. It's a no-brainer, right? So let's all age gracefully together. I'm wishing you a blessed day.